Hi, everybody. I'm Olivia Scott, and I am so thrilled today at Freedom at the Mat that we have a legend in the house. I have been asking this wonderful young man for a little while now to spend some time with us, and he finally has given us some time. So today, we are joined by the one and only Yirser Ra Hotel out of Chicago, Illinois, but globally known and respected for being the founder and leader of the Global Kemetic Yoga Movement. He coined the term Kemetic Yoga, and he is here with us today. He is celebrating 50 years of Kemetic Yoga, and he is going to share with us so much today. Yasir, I know you're in Jamaica. Thank you for joining us today. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. Yeah, I'm doing great because I'm in a great place with great people.
You have built a formidable reputation and student base. So much love, much honor to you for that. Okay. Your flowers. I want to make sure we give those to you. But you did this long before social media. What advice do you have for newer teachers right now who are coming up in this age of all this connectivity, all this social content? What would you recommend for them to build a reputation? That's one. And then as you're thinking through what you'd recommend for us, what are some no-nos that you would tell for up and coming teachers, please?
Well, the main thing is if you're going to become a teacher, you don't come into yoga to become a teacher. A
Mm.
yoga teacher is a person who loves yoga, who can see the benefits of it, who can see the life preserving aspects of it, and they engage in it because they love it and they love the feelings and the benefits that they receive from it. And then they just happen to also teach it.
Okay.
So when I came into yoga because I was just sort of browbeated to come to a class by a sister, right? And so I finally went to the class, and then I discovered what yoga really was, and then that made me stay with it. So a yoga teacher is somebody who practices yoga every day because they can see the benefits so that each day, that the day that they are in right then is going to go better. They're going to make better decisions. They're going to have better experiences when they practice. So practicing, it improves your creativity, it improves your intuition, and it gives you the ability to stick to something even when there's obstacles against you. So you're not going to be successful. You got to be able to understand that sometimes you're not successful in all of the efforts that you're going to put forth. So you have to have the resilience, you have to have that inner resilience that comes from practice to allow you to navigate those choppy waters of what people would call the ups and downs of business, right?
So, Mr. Yasir, let me interrupt for a second. Are you saying, am I hearing you say that yoga teachers need to practice every day themselves?
Yeah, yoga teacher is supposed to practice yoga. You know, I have a guy that sends me emails all the time, and he's offering yoga classes for people who teach yoga because he says that people who teach yoga don't really practice.
Correct. I'm like, I have a class I'm teaching on Sunday, and I've not been on the mat in a while. I go to the gym every morning. I'm doing my walking and I'm doing my other training, my weightlifting to keep myself strong and flexible. And I should be ashamed, Mr. Yasir. Carry
Don't,
on.
don't be ashamed. It's just information.
Yeah,
So it's
that's what
just
I want to know.
so you just apply it, or you just take it and um use it the way that it's going to work for you the best, right? Like what are the benefits of yoga? The benefits of yoga is that it makes you, opens up your head, it makes you think better, makes you feel better, makes you look better, all that kind of stuff. So why not want to do that every day? To
Correct.
me, yoga is like what I call a positive addiction. You need it, you crave it, because when you don't have it, you go through the changes. Like a drug addict go through changes when they don't have it. So I'd be like, whoa, I'm going through withdrawals. I need to go do some yoga. And I go to the gym, I run, I lift some weights a little bit, I ride my bike, I do Tai Chi, I do other things too. So it's nothing wrong with doing all those things. So I don't practice yoga for 8 to 12 hours a day like I used to, but I do other types of activities to keep my health and my fitness at a high level. In terms of in terms of the business aspects of it, like you said, I started off before there was social media and stuff. And so one of the things I would do is that, we would do demonstrations to demonstrate because people are looking at yoga from the physical aspect. So I learned how to do the most extreme postures by reading, by looking at the books by B.K.S. Iyengar, Satchidananda, and this other guy who wrote complete illustrated Vishnu Devananda. So
Okay.
those were so I looked in their books and I copied their poses, but I didn't use their technique. I used my own technique that I call yoga skills method.
Got it.
So so from a business perspective, the only thing I can say is that you have to be an example. So you have to be an example of what you're talking about.
Right.
Most people who get introduced to yoga, they don't want to hear about Shiva and Shakti and all this stuff. They want to hear you need to emphasize the health benefits of the practice.
Okay.
Lowering blood pressure,
Okay.
reducing stress and anxiety, causing the body to feel better. You know,
Yes.
um, those things are going to be selling points, especially for Black people who go to church and they may think that yoga is a religion that's opposed to their Christian worldview, right?
Correct.
So that's one thing. Consistency, being an example. You cannot be an example unless you actually doing what you say that you're doing, you know. And so to me, it's okay to have you can approach yoga from a fitness perspective, and then you can say, okay, I do all these other exercises and I do yoga for these purposes. Because we work with professional athletes, college athletes, and stuff like that. So we work, so you can take yoga and fashion it to any population. People with mental health issues, people with substance abuse issues, people with domestic violence, people who've been incarcerated.
Yep.
You can work with all types of different populations. Children, children who've been abused and neglected. So as a yoga teacher, you need to find out what is your all the markets that you can be being involved with and all the ways that you can use yoga to help people. I've been in hospitals teaching breathing practice exercises to people with emphysema and other types of respiratory disorders, right? I've been
Mm.
in hospitals and different settings working with people who were exposed to HIV and AIDS, you know, because stress is something that activated their disease and made their disease get worse, right?
Got it.
Um, so working with children in preschool and lower grades and higher grades in high school and even into college, right? There's all types of different populations that you can work with.
Correct.
So a person who's trying to find their place within the universe of yoga, they need to understand that there are many different markets and populations, but you have to shape your yoga to fit the needs of these different populations that need it, right? You need
Yes,
to
sir.
learn to be innovative. You have to be able to say, I'm going to put people in a chair and they're going to have a really positive experience of practicing from sitting in a chair. You don't always have to get down on the mat. So you
Right.
have to study. You have to see
Right.
what other people are doing. You have to take the best practices of others and apply them to yourself.
Thank you, Miss G. See, I'm right. They're here, but I'm also writing them down for myself to be reminded the practice, the consistency, the fact that you studied and you're sharing with us who you studied, right? That I studied and then I added my own technique. You were innovative, finding those best practices, and then finding the right market. I think that people sometimes we don't think enough about the fact there's so many populations globally that we can have access to. So I appreciate that.
Go to a school district or go to an individual school
Okay.
and try to get a grant. A lot of schools, they write grants when they want to do something with the students. You know, learn how to apply yoga to the different populations and then understand to get grants. I used to work with a lot of different after school programs. I used to work with a lot of preschool programs, but I was getting paid through funding that these community organizations was getting. They was getting grants in order to create the program and in order to for me to get paid from that, right?
Yep.
So everybody should not be saying, "Oh, I'm gonna open up a studio and then I'm gonna make money." A lot of yoga studios do not make money
Right.
unless they have teacher training, sponsor retreats, and sponsor workshops. They don't just make money off of people coming in the door
Why is that, Mr. Yasir?
because people are so inconsistent.
Okay.
So that aspect of your business in terms of people walking in the door is going to only give you a certain percentage of your income. But you got
Right.
to add in other streams of revenue from sponsoring a workshop. People may come to the people may come to a workshop and then they may join your class.
Got it.
People may come to your class and then take a retreat with you.
Correct.
And
Correct.
then so you have to you have to not stretch it, but you have to just bring people in to give them a variety of experiences. Have a special workshop, bring in a speaker or
Got it.
a teacher who's going to do something special.
So much you see her earlier in this conversation, and thank you for that. I'm glad you brought that back up because when I was in New York and I got my training after my divorce in 2014, a friend of mine who worked in corporate wellness, he pulled me aside and said, "Olivia, do me one favor. I see that you're shifting in this world of wellness. Do not open a yoga studio." He was like, "There's so many other ways you can get in corporate wellness." Whatever. And he was telling me this stuff. And if he had not said that, I think the first thing I would have thought to do would have been to open a yoga studio. I think every yoga's teacher, they think, okay, I'm teaching enough. People are coming to my classes. They want to see me. I'm going to open my own studio. I'm going to use my mama's basement, whatever they decide to use. But it doesn't have to be the only or the first thing that you go to. So thank you for sharing that and the why on why. People are just inconsistent. Doesn't mean they're bad. It's just inconsistent. You can't live a life and create a whole livelihood around inconsistent people.
Yeah.
So
If you look at the health club industry, in January, December, January, February, they set up a whole lot of people. They sign up more people than what they have the capacity for because they know all those people are not going to stick, but they still getting their dues taken out of their bank account every month.
you shared earlier that you looked at your uncle, looked up to him or relative who was an advertising industry, executive, and you thought, okay, I want to go into that industry, but then you listened to your spirit, you obeyed your spirit, and you went into Kemetic yoga, and you have had, I believe, a very wealthy, a very successful life from a spiritual perspective. What do you believe has been the key to your success?
The key,
Yes, sir. The key.
But number one, I come from a long line of entrepreneurs. All of my ancestors in Chicago, Texas, and in Jamaica, everybody were entrepreneurs. Everybody is well educated in terms of getting the proper knowledge and information, right? And so I'm just a part of that whole infrastructure of that type of thing, like the desire to be independent, and not have to work for somebody and stuff like that. I mean, I can't even teach yoga. I can't even allow myself to get hired to teach yoga in the health club no more because I don't want them to tell me nothing. I don't want nobody to give me an order to tell me to come to this meeting. It's like I'm past all of that. I don't want to hear that, you know. So I don't like being at any place at a certain time. I like to be on my own time.
Flow.
Yeah.
It's
So
very addictive. I want you to keep telling. I will just want to say it's very addictive. Once you get the taste of working for yourself, it's like it's very hard to answer to anybody.
right. So so I would just say that the key is perseverance. My motto is live without fear. Most people get scared. Ooh, this gonna happen. I get scared too. But they thinking that the worst thing is gonna happen. You have to be able to, in life, everything is in life is going up and it's going down and it comes back up again, right? You have to be able to make it through. You have to have the resiliency within yourself to persevere through those down periods of time. And then you have to have the mental maneuverability to make a change, you make a mid-course correction in what you're doing, because perhaps your strategy wasn't leading to the goal that you wanted to achieve. So you have to be able to say, "Oh, I'm going to make a mid-course correction and change some things that I was doing." And so that comes from having this feeling of not being afraid and that I'm doing the right thing, and so I'm going to be rewarded. But that also comes from practicing. If you don't practice, you're not going to be fortified.
Right. Because I was just about you preempted. I was going to ask you, okay, well, then how do you get that confidence? How do you get it? And so you're saying it's the practice that gives you the confidence that fortifies that I'm doing what I should be doing. Got it.
Yeah, you gotta meditate. Your
Yes.
meditation, your
Yeah.
meditation is how you connect to the divine. Your
Yes.
meditation is how you connect to the invisible world where you can receive information from the forces, from your ancestors. You come to my house, I have an altar.
Yep.
My ancestors is on the altar, right? And I
Yes.
believe that my ancestors are not just some dead people, but they are actually living spirits.